Welcome, everybody, to the Gray Area Podcast, the show where two regular guys dive into everything from sports to movies, current events, and whatever else comes to mind. With a heavy dose of humor and unfiltered opinions. I'm Brooks.
And I'm Travis. So whether you're here for a laugh, a hot take, or just to hang out, we've got you covered.
All right, today we're going to take a look at a few different things. The government spending. Is it too much? Too little? We'll dive into that. We're going to talk sports. We're going to talk personal experience with health, weight loss, working out, and healthy foods. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Segment 1 of this podcast is on personal health experience and weight loss and all that good stuff. So Travis, we've kind of gone through a period of our lives where that has become very important.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a everyday routine.
Yeah, and it's a struggle. Yeah. So I'll tell you a little bit about me. You can jump into yours. I started out, I think at my heaviest, I was 190 pounds. Now I'm only 5'6". And that's not very big. Sometimes I say 5'7".
He's just a little guy.
Well, I had the 190 pounds to add to it. So I realized I had to take a gut check, literally, and just get my life in order, my health in general. I did have gallbladder surgery, and that really kicked it off. So what I did is we got with a friend of ours, Kara Scully, who helped us develop, she worked with you as well, develop a workout regimen, an eating regimen, and we basically gave her our target goal.
Yeah.
And my target goal was 160. So yeah. I wanted to lose 30 pounds. So that's a baby.
Yeah, my goal was 45.
Okay.
Yeah.
So very similar. And what'd you start out with?
I started out at 248, which was the heaviest I had ever been.
So you wanted to be around 203?
Yeah.
Somewhere in there, 200. Okay. Well, so diving into this app that she had us do, we had daily check-ins where we took pictures of ourselves as soon as we woke up, without any food in our stomachs or anything like that, and then just monitored the progress, and she would adapt it as we went. So some of the things that she had put on the plate was, number one, vitamins. Vitamins is a big deal, and that's something I did a lot of research on as myself. Adding those supplements to your body to get your body right to handle the weight loss that you need. Right. And that we lack every day in our foods that we eat from the grocery store. So she put me on, let's see, food-wise, I was on like not quite 2,000, but I think it's about 2,000 calorie meal diet. What was yours?
It was a little bit higher than that, not much. Yeah.
So it was a lot of jasmine rice, tilapia, chicken, vegetables. It was all healthy stuff, nothing processed. And I stuck to that regimen every meal. So I was eating breakfast, which was like yogurt and fruits and granola stuff.
How long did you successfully stick to the food part?
Yeah, so that was until I lost the weight.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was
thing through.
What's that?
You did it the whole thing through.
The whole thing through. Yeah, I was pretty regimented on it. I knew that I was going to have to stick to it no matter what. If I wanted to get the results that I wanted, and she set that up for me, I knew. Not only that, but the workout regimen. That was a daily thing, working. Well, I travel a lot for work, just like you. So when we go on the road, we might not have the weight sets that we need to do all the workouts that she planned. So she gave me an HIIT workout. Did you get that as well?
Yep, got it.
Yeah. So basically, that's just resistance of your body weight, right? So you could do that in the hotel room, but luckily for me, I chose a lot of hotels that had good gyms.
Makes a big difference when you're choosing a hotel on the gym versus the bar.
Yes.
That's a change I was making. I used to look at hotels and I'd be like, oh, what kind of bar does it have? And
Right.
then now I was like, what kind of gym does it have?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's very important. That's your priorities change. So, all the workouts, and man, I tell you, I didn't have a whole lot of cardio in my workout, but I definitely had a lot of weights to get stronger. And basically, what happened and that I noticed was my weight was coming down, but I was getting stronger, right? So there wasn't going to be a major drastic change because muscle weighs more than fat,
yeah.
right? So it was a slow one until I hit a certain point where I think I was just steady in my tone. I wasn't trying to bulk up on strength or anything like that. But and then it took me 3 months to lose my 30 pounds.
3 months.
3 months,
That's
30 pounds.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big difference. And then, um, you know, I once I hit that target, I kind of let off of all that stuff. So I'm not eating as healthy now, but my weight is not going up. I fluctuate from 160 to 165. So
So on mine, I did an absolutely terrible job on the food. Like I stuck to it for probably a month. I think I said it last episode, like I'm a food guy.
yeah,
Like I'm excited about the Super Bowl food conversation. I'm a food guy. I love terrible food.
yeah,
Um, so I'm the kind of guy I gotta outwork it in the gym,
mm,
right? Um, so last April's when we started this with Kara.
yeah,
Like I remember we were sitting down in the restaurant and we're like, okay, we're doing this.
yeah,
And we kind of got the plan and held each other accountable.
mm-hmm.
It took me probably 6 months to lose around 40 pounds,
Okay,
but I consistently was in the gym at least 3 days a week. And that was when I was traveling like crazy. Like the
right,
last 5 years, I've been on the road all the time, right? But since the fourth quarter of last year, I haven't traveled as much. I got a gym closer to home
mm-hmm.
and I started changing up the routine. Now, this year, I said, you know what? I'm going to get up at 5.
Mm.
I'm going to be in the gym 10,000 steps before 10 a.m.
Oh wow,
and get going. So far this year, I've missed 5 days in the gym. Even if I go and just like do a light lift and walk on the treadmill at an incline, I'm doing something, right?
right,
Um, and then my goal for this year, I said, you know what? I'm going to run a half marathon. I've done full marathons. I've done a half Ironman, but I said, I'm going to get back into it. I didn't realize those things were all 10 years ago.
mm-hmm.
So now
Yeah,
at 42 years old, I was like, okay, a little bit different.
sure,
So I went ahead. I'm the kind of guy I have to sign up for something and pay for it, and
and
I'll do it.
force
I
you to
won't
do
back out.
it. Right,
So I went ahead and signed up for the local half marathon coming up in March. Looked at the training. I was a little behind, but I'm like, okay, I can get this done. So kind of caught that up, but that's what I'm doing now. I'm lifting every morning, then doing, I don't know, 3 to 5 miles,
mm.
and then kind of go through. I'll do the half marathon, and then I think I'm going to go ahead and sign up for another full next year in
Dog.
January. Yeah.
Hey.
But I feel better. Like I'm at 205, 208, depending what dinner was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I still do a terrible job with food.
Really,
Yeah. Like, but I don't drink hardly ever.
that's key.
Maybe once every 2 weeks, I have a
Mhm.
drink. Change some key behaviors. But overall, for me, it was about routine.
Yeah,
I had to get up at 5, get the feet on the floor. That's the number one thing
yeah,
because the bed's comfy,
absolutely.
right? Feet on the floor. And once I get up, have that 40-something-year-old grunt like, ugh,
Ugh.
here we go. Then I'm good.
Yep.
And I feel so much better.
Uh, I agree with you 100%. Let me ask you a quick question. You said that it took you a little bit longer than me to get to the 40 pounds. Do you think if you would have stuck with the food regimen that you would have hit that sooner?
Oh yeah, it would have peeled off
Yeah.
because I was trying to outwork some bad food habits.
Right.
Um, I think a big part's not going out to eat as much, and
Mm.
especially not as much fast food. That's
Yeah.
the part when you're traveling.
Fast food. Yep.
You like sometimes you don't want to go sit in a restaurant by yourself,
Right.
and if you do, you're gonna sit at the bar. You're gonna
Mhm.
have a beer.
Yeah.
So changing those things up and changing how you eat when you're gone and on the road was big.
Yeah, I'd have to say discipline is the most important thing when you do anything, including podcast, weight loss, anything in your job, anything that you do, sports, just like this, the discipline of just getting in and do it. Actually, I watched a movie. I'm going to integrate a movie with this. It's called Unstoppable. Have you seen it?
I don't think so.
It's about the wrestler with one leg, and Jennifer Lopez is in it.
I definitely haven't seen it.
Oh, it's so good. I watched it last night with my 13-year-old son who enjoys wrestling, and wrestling is a big part of my background and my
Right.
family's background. But the coach said to Anthony Robles, which is the kid who won nationals his senior year in college, and he won state his senior year in high school. He said, and it stuck with me, and I wrote it down. I've got it in my notes here. Ain't nothing to it but to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah,
As simple as that. Ain't nothing to it but to do it.
it's true. You said discipline,
Mm-hmm.
and discipline's a big word, right?
Right.
The other part that goes with that is accountability.
Mm-hmm.
What happens on the days that suck, that you don't want to get up, that you don't want to do it, that you're just tired? And so I'm reading a book by David Goggins, and he talked
Oh.
about, all his training. He's crazy. I know most people have looked at his stuff too, but he talked about his first like ultra race,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't train. He
Oh.
just, I'm going to go run 100 miles. And everything was the next like pole or the next tree. Like, get to that part, get to that thing, get past the suck, nothing to it but to do it. Like,
Right.
get to that next thing.
Yeah.
And he was fine. And then all of a sudden, he finished.
Right. That's a good point that you bring up that Goggins brought up is when we do something, we always look at the big picture, right? And it looks daunting. It looks like we'll never finish this.
Yeah.
So if you break it down into pieces, then you have small wins along the way. I do this with my job, and I'm sure you do as well. But anything that we try to do, if we can break it up, it's so much more attainable.
I tell the kids all the time, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time,
right.
right? That's the only way to do it. Quit looking at the big hard thing and
Yes.
do the next little thing. But I also teach them do the hardest thing first. Like
Mm-hmm.
when you get to work in the morning or whatever it is, whatever the hardest thing is you have on the schedule that day, do it.
Knock it out.
Knock it out. If it's working out, getting up at 5 a.m.
Ice
and working
bath.
out, ugh,
Ice bath. Yeah.
do it.
Do it.
And then the rest of the day is like, oh, okay, nothing's as bad as that.
Yeah. I promise you, you get an ice bath at 7, 8 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. That's going to be the hardest thing you do.
Yeah.
I just can't stress that enough that making things attainable, it's a mental thing.
Yeah.
Right? We have this mental blockage. And I wanted to tell you my analogy that you said about eating the elephant. How do you boil the ocean? One cup at a time. Right?
I like that.
Ooh,
I
hitting
like
you
that.
with some knowledge.
Yeah.
All right. You got anything else to add on this health issue?
No, put on there any comments, any questions that you have. Tell us about your story. How's your journey been? By no means are we experts.
No.
Right? I've been like most people. I've been heavy. I've been skinny. I've been all the above in between. But it's just about setting a goal and doing what's right for you.
Absolutely. That's a great point. Put those stories, and if you got a tip,
Yeah.
our listeners want to know, what worked for you, what worked for me, what worked for Travis, and maybe they can try it. Because I'll tell you this, not one program is right for everybody.
Mm-mm.
And stay off the Ozempic.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just don't know what's going on with that. Do it the right way, and it's with exercise and healthy foods. We're about to see a big change with that with our government and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's trying to make a big push for better foods for our kids and whatnot. So we'll get into the government stuff here in a minute. Stay tuned. We will be right back after a word from our sponsors. Introducing the thing you never knew you needed. Are you tired of being tired? Frustrated with frustration? Annoyed by literally everything? Well, do we have the solution for you? Introducing The Thing, the latest innovation and absolutely nothing, but somehow still life-changing. Does it do anything? Maybe. Who knows? Will it improve your life? Probably not. But you'll laugh while trying. Is it worth your money? Absolutely, to us. Act now and we'll throw in another thing, because one questionable purchase deserves another. Order today. Operators are standing by, modestly judging your life decisions. Welcome back to the Gray Area Podcast. We're going to jump into the next segment where we talk about the government. Don't shut us down. And I want to just say this first and foremost. We are nobody special. We don't absolutely know what is exactly going on, but what we're hearing, we're going to talk about. Whether it's true or not, that's for you to decide, not for us.
Sure.
Right. So let's go and get into this. So the government has created, or Trump has created, a new segment of the government called DOGE, and that's the Department of
Government efficiency.
Yep. Efficiency. That's right. And their job is solely to jump in and see where the government is spending money that they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
On unnecessary expenditures.
How this wasn't a thing before,
Right.
I don't understand.
I don't either. It just sounds like a poorly ran company to me.
Yeah.
I mean, with my company that I had previously, we always looked into see what are we spending money on that's, number one, not making us money, and number two, what is cutting the bottom line.
Right. Well, that's the problem when you have an entity that takes in money but doesn't produce it.
Right.
They manufacture it, right? We know that, but they don't make money.
Right.
They just take money.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens in this administration, whether you're for it or against it. That's for you guys. We're just talking about what's going on. So let's go ahead and jump into this. And like I said, this is just what we've heard. If it's true, it's true. If it's not, it's not. But it sounds weird.
Yeah. You hear all the reports about dumb things we spend money on.
Yeah.
So, of course, I want to talk about what are we cutting out of there, right?
That's right. So this first one has actually been all over the news lately. I don't know what channels or whatever networks, but $50 million the government is spending on condoms to send to Gaza.
That's a lot of condoms.
That is a lot of condoms. So you ask yourself, well, why are they sending this to Gaza? So from what I'm hearing is it's for, sexually transmitted diseases. It's for sexual health, I guess. Population control, maybe, because I don't know. I don't know exactly, but that, to me, that makes sense. Now, what I'm hearing reports on what they're actually using the condoms for is they're blowing them up. I don't know whether it's with helium or something, and could possibly be attaching some sort of device to these things, whether they're explosives or whatever. But that's what that is being used for a lot of the times.
I just looked it up. That's what I was doing. Gaza is 141 square miles.
Wow.
So coming from guys that live in Texas, 141 square miles is not much.
Nothing.
I think it said it's the size of Manhattan.
Jeez.
$50 million $50 million on condoms. I saw the math yesterday or the day before. Like I said, don't know if it's true that it's 5 cents a condom.
Mm.
So I think I read, you could check me on this, I'm probably wrong, 5 billion condoms. I don't know if that's what that comes out to, but
Wow. But that's a lot of condoms for a small area.
yeah.
Is that a lot of I mean, and then what's the ratio between men and women? Not kids,
Oh, yeah.
right? So either they have a major surplus or they would have had a major surplus of condoms.
Or is it just labeled condoms and it's something else?
Bingo. So that's my thought process. As we go through this list, it sounds to me like there is some money laundering or kickbacks that are happening. We're going to, spend this 50 million and somehow get some of it back in somebody's, whatever their charity that goes
Right.
directly back to them or whatever. All right, let's jump into the next one. Now, these next 10 are yearly expenditures that we've been spending money on. All right. Number 1, $2 million a year. Get this, for glitter cleanup task force.
Now, don't know if you've ever been to an adult entertainment establishment, but glitter's hard to get out of clothes,
Yes.
skin,
Yeah.
couches, whatever it is. I don't know how much a janitor at one of those places makes, but maybe that's what they get.
So you're telling me
Yeah.
you think that yes, you think that this task force is going out and training janitors or people to clean up this in adult establishments.
Adult entertainment establishment. Yeah.
Establishments.
AEE.
E. Yeah. Well,
Can you think of a better reason?
No,
Exactly.
but I think it needs cut.
Or Mardi Gras. It could be Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that, but not what, 2 million a year? I mean, what are you going to find out year over year about glitter? Or do you have to just support this task group?
Yes.
Yes. All right, let's move on to the second one. 2.3 million a year is being spent by our government for Balloon Animal Training Academy.
That's a fun one.
Clowns are just being taught how to
Make me a bicycle clown. I don't know why that's a thing.
Yeah, these things are out there, folks. So, chime in the comments as we go through these and just tell us what you think. If you know of something that the government's spending on as well. Let's jump into the next one. 1.4 million a year for the National Bubble Wrap Stress Relief Study.
So I want to know how I can how I can get paid to do this. 1.4 million a year to probably sit in the room and they measure your stress levels
Yeah.
before and after popping bubble wrap.
Right. Well,
I'm in.
yeah, you're in. I'm in. But let me tell you, bubble wrap popping, because that's a mouthful, does, and it's clinically proven, lower stress. But do we need to continue this every year?
I think once you do the study once, you're good to go.
Yeah, I think so too. Let's take it, learn from it, move on. Cut 1.4 million a year. Next one, 900,000 dollars a year the government is spending on mailbox feng shui.
I don't even have a mailbox.
I mean, I've got a little square box.
Yeah, I got the community one.
Yeah.
I wish I had a mailbox.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
If you had a mailbox, would it be plain? Would it be a special design?
Oh, I think I'd have like the brick coming up, and then I'd have it built into the brick because when I was a kid, a game we liked to play was Go Smash the Mailbox.
That sounds illegal. Community note.
It is illegal. Don't do it.
Don't do that.
But that's a way to protect your mailbox.
Yeah. I like the ones that are shaped like a fish.
Oh, yeah, those are cool. Mm-hmm.
They are cool.
Yeah. All right, jump into the next.
Way.
Feng shui. Yeah. Jumping to the next one. $600K a year is being spent on the National Pretzel Untwisting Initiative. So that tells me that's after they've been cooked and you're undoing the pretzel to eat it. There's one way to do it.
I honestly don't even have a comment on that one.
That's weird. I mean, what is it? Aunt Annie's in the mall?
Annie Ann's.
Annie Ann's. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, except I have to tell you, my very, very favorite, because you can have two favorites, is up in Shipshewana, Indiana, this place called JoJo's Pretzels. And you get it with a bottled Coke, and it is the best.
I'll try it. I'm in.
All right. Next time you're
Pretzels.
up at Shipshe, get you one. All right. Next one, $1.8 million a year for the Department of Sock Pairing.
Now, I do have something on this. So we lose socks all the time. I'm sure everybody does.
Oh, yeah.
I want to know what the conclusion is. How do I get my kids to keep their socks together?
Well, I'm gonna say something out. Nowadays, that's not a problem. These kids do not wear matching socks.
Oh, ever? No.
So we can do away with this because
Okay.
nobody cares if you're a kid. Now, an adult, I like to match my socks. But the dryer monster likes to eat them, and then you can't find them. So just go out, if you can, get another pair. Otherwise, you're stuck with mismatched socks.
Sophie, who's one of my doodles,
Oh, yeah.
she eats them.
She eats them?
Yeah. We find them.
Oh.
Later.
Outside?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So you gave me a hard time about not mentioning the dogs last podcast.
Yeah.
So I have Sophie and Lincoln, both doodles. Sophie eats socks. I clean them up in the yard later
Oh, gosh.
when I clean her toilet.
So let me ask, are they still together? Does she eat them whole? Or do they
Whole.
do they come out whole?
Yeah.
Do you just wash them and reuse?
Why would I wash them? I'm joking. I'm joking.
Oh, yeah, you just put them on.
Just put them on. Done. That's
Oh, my
terrible.
gosh. Yep. All right, on to the next one. $1.2 million a year for the High Five Coordination Bureau. High five. High five. Yes. See, now that was pretty coordinated, and we didn't consult a bureau.
You know the trick, right?
What's the trick?
This study produced the trick. I'm sure of it. When you high five, go up, look at the elbow. When you high five, you'll never miss.
Holy cow.
You don't look at the hand, you look at the elbow.
Just for clarification, when we did it the first time,
Mm-hmm.
I looked at your hand and we half high five,
Mm-hmm.
and just right there, it was a full contact high five.
Yeah. So thankfully, this study, I'm sure of it, found that if you look at the elbow, you never miss.
Well, that's what I'm going to do going forward.
If you don't learn anything from this podcast, learn that.
Yes, that was
Look at the elbow, you'll never miss.
impressive. Thank you, Travis.
You're welcome.
He's full of dumb stuff, but I love it. All right, let's go into the next one. $700K a year for the National Ice Cream Cone Structural Integrity Lab.
This is Joe Biden, right?
I don't know.
Like an ice cream cone fell apart and he was like, this is bull. Like,
Right.
someone needs to figure this out.
Yeah, because he was the guy that was always eating ice cream, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did he have the ice cream button? He did have the ice cream button, like Trump has the Diet Coke button.
I don't know if he did, but that I would agree with him on that.
So we're trying to figure out if ice cream cones leak and how to fix that. That's what that's for.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next one, $3 million a year. Office of Puddle Depth Measurement.
There's no way that's real.
This is what
There's a whole office.
Yes, dedicated to going out into places where it's rained and measuring the depth of the pothole or the puddle. Yeah, it's true. Well, maybe. Asterisk, it's true.
Again, I don't have anything for that.
Hold on. Out of all of these, that's the one you shake your head at?
Because there's a whole office.
It might be-
It's that word that bothers me.
Well, it might be. So $3 million a year for 3 people to go out and do this. Who knows? Yeah. I mean, you got to pay for a building. You got to pay for health care. You got to pay for wages. I mean, I
That's
don't know.
true. Yeah. Okay.
And the last but not least, 1.5 million a year for the Bureau of Alarm Clock Testing. We got to make sure those things are annoying as hell so we can get up out of our bed and, like Travis said, put your feet on the floor.
Yep.
Yeah.
My kids need them to figure this out because they don't wake up to an alarm.
They wake up to somebody waking them up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Same here. I've got one that does that. My two older kids can wake up with an alarm, but my youngest, he can, but he chooses not to.
Right.
I think that's the safety net. Oh, mom and dad will wake me up for school. So I think that's why it gets.
We lived that this morning.
Yeah.
We were like cutting it close, and then of course Jackson's in a bad mood. And I'm like, "What are you mad at me for?"
Yeah.
I tried.
Yeah, we did that yesterday and today. Yesterday was really close, and the excuse I got was, Dad, I went to bed at 9, which is earlier than I normally do. I needed to get my beauty rest. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hearing it. As the kids grow, they sleep a lot more.
They're
Yeah.
growing.
Yeah, that's when they grow, when they sleep.
I sleep a lot less.
Yeah, because you're not growing. You're shrinking. As we get older,
Sad, but
we
true.
shrink. So, after we've reviewed all those things and talked about all these expenditures, a total of $15.4 million a year is what has been spent. Now, that's minus the $50 million, of course, for the Gaza Economy, because that's a one-time expenditure that they blocked. So yeah, there's a lot of crazy things going on with the government. We have the nominations with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Kash Patel, Tulsi Gabbard, and I watched a few of those, and let me tell you, they get on to those people.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable. I don't know how they keep their cool.
I don't either. And here's the other thing. I tweeted about this, but it's like, why ask a question when you won't let people answer it in that moment? Because I, the public, taxpayer, want to see their answers, because now they're going to go into another closed session and then probably answer those questions.
The answer to that is it's not about the answer. It's about the soundbite. Right?
Yeah.
If I'm asking the tough questions, my constituents know, man, he's really tough. Look at him. He's grilling him, because that's the 15-second clip on TikTok and Twitter or X and all this.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about the answer.
That's what it's all optics. It's what it's sounding like. You're right. So that's a good take from that. But I mean, there's a lot of crazy things going on right now with the government and nominations for, the big positions that are, whatever they are. But it's kind of new to me, because I've not watched it very often. This is the first time I've really paid attention to any of that, just because it's big in the spotlight right now. And I think I'm at a different type of my age where I care about what's going on. When I was younger, I really didn't care, which is not good. If you're younger, you should probably just peep in instead of catching those, 13-second, highlights. That way you can, that's the other thing. Get the full story. Because in one of those things, and I was watching Kash Patel, those guys would say a statement that they said, but it was a half quote instead of a full quote. So you're putting out into the public a certain narrative when we're not seeing the full story. So make sure you do your own research before you develop an opinion, and don't take my word for it. Don't take his word for it. Go out and look these things up, and just, like I said, make sure you form your own opinion.
Not only that, be okay with an opinion that doesn't match yours.
Yes.
Without getting your feelings hurt.
Absolutely.
I talk to people all the time. We don't agree on sports. We don't agree on government. We don't agree on business. There's all kinds of things that I don't agree with people on. It's listen, learn, and ask questions.
Yeah.
Otherwise, go live in your own bubble.
That's right. Yeah, I can't stress that enough, and I'm glad you brought that up, because we have turned into a society where it's my way or the highway. It's never, your opinion's good, my opinion's good. We agree to disagree. That's just, something that needs to change. All right, stay right here. We'll be back with another segment of the Gray Area Podcast. Tired of doing stuff? We got you covered. Introducing the Procrastinator 3000, the only product designed to help you not do what you're supposed to do today. Instant excuses for avoiding work, chores, and social gatherings automatically hides your to-do list under the pizza box. Patented I'll do it later technology ensures absolutely nothing gets done. But wait, there's more. Order now and we'll throw in a guilt-free nap pass because you deserve a break from all the things that you didn't do. Call now or don't. No rush. We get it. Welcome back to the Gray Area Podcast. I'm Brooks. This is Travis. And now is the time that I get all excited because this is a great time of the year. We just had the NCAA college football national championship. Now we have the Super Bowl is on our plate, and we're going to cover sports. So let's dive into it. We'll get into the Super Bowl matchup. Let's review the games previously. I watched it. Did you watch?
I watched the Philadelphia one. I did not get to watch much of Chiefs and Bills.
Okay, so I watched both games. Let's just go ahead and dive into the Chiefs and Bills. I don't know why you wouldn't watch the Chiefs and Bills because that's like everything that's happening right now with all the, the referees.
I'll tell you why, Brooks. I was celebrating my mother-in-law's birthday. That's why.
Oh,
Yeah, you're bad. Okay, but I can talk about it.
Okay,
I'll let you kick it off.
All right. Good. So the Bills at Kansas City. Josh Allen coming in. Has never beat Patrick Mahomes in a playoff game.
That's crazy.
It is. And it continued because they didn't win. They lost 29-32. So now he's 0-4 against Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes. So some of the big players, Josh Allen had 237 yards and 2 TDs. Patrick Mahomes had 245 yards and 1 TD. Rushing on both sides of the ball, we had Jay Cook, who had 85 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Kareem Hunt, who had 64 yards and a touchdown. Now think about that right there. Those two players had 4 touchdowns together, and Patrick Mahomes and Hunt had just 2 touchdowns total.
Yeah.
So it makes you go, where's the production? What's happening? And then receiving, who led the receiving, we had Worthy for Kansas City, who had 85 yards and a touchdown. And then he had Hollins for 73 yards and a touchdown.
So pretty similar all the way around.
Yeah.
Like your difference is
2 touchdowns.
Allen and Cook with an additional touchdown each.
Right. Yeah. So Buffalo ends their season 13-4, and Kansas City continues to the Super Bowl at 15-2.
That's crazy. It seemed like all year long Kansas City was so close to losing.
Yeah.
Almost every game.
Yes.
And then they found a way to pull it. I guess, congrats to them. That's their pedigree. I mean, when you have additional referees and those kind of things that help you, it gives you a couple points here and there, and that's all you need.
Right. It's crazy that the run that these guys have had. I saw a stat the other day, and I think in the last 6 years they've been either to the Super Bowl or to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, I think 6 years in a row now, right. AFC Championship game, right? They're just like the Astros.
Yep.
With the ALCS, it was 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, the Astros don't get the credit that the Chiefs get.
No, of course not.
That's fine. not heard about that.
Oh, yeah. Also, Kansas City has, kind of a similarity to the Patriots back in their, golden run, right, with Tom Brady. And who knows? We'll see what happens.
I think what the Chiefs has done is more impressive than the Patriots. Now, it's not as sustained over 20 years of excellence, but just in a quick snapshot of the last, 8 to 10 years, the Chiefs have been there. Even before Mahomes, the Chiefs were extremely competitive, right?
Yeah.
In the playoffs. So.
Yes. Well, I will say this. In the next journey of Patrick Mahomes, if he can compete with Tom Brady by going to another team that's not a Super Bowl contender and bring a tight end along like Travis Kelce and win a Super Bowl there, then he's, in my book, right there with Tom Brady.
Yeah. I don't think he'll ever be as good as Tom Brady,
No.
right? I don't think it's going to translate. He'll probably retire with Kansas City.
Right.
Right. I don't think he'll go anywhere else. And then the AFC is catching up to the Chiefs.
Right.
Right. It's not extremely dominant. I think it's catching up. There's going to be the Texans are going to have their window. The Bills are going to have their window. The Ravens are going to have their window. And those are going to be your top four for a while. I don't think the Chiefs are going to sit on top of it. They're going to three-peat, and then things are going to happen.
Sure. The three.
Travis is going to retire.
Yeah. Well, he's probably going to run off, get married.
Yeah.
To T Swift, and a lot of people didn't want the T Swift Super Bowl again. Or is this the first time that they've been together in a Super Bowl?
I mean, they were together last year for the Super Bowl.
Right.
So, yeah.
You're right. Okay. So here comes three-peat, possibly. But first, they got to get through the Philadelphia Eagles, who took on the Washington Commanders. And that game was...
That was a whooping.
Yeah, that was a whooping. That was not what I anticipated. I was actually hoping the Washington Commanders, were going to put up a fight, maybe even do something. Jaden Daniels is a stud as a rookie. He's got him to the NFC Championship. He finished with 255 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Jalen Hurts, former Alabama guy, 246 yards, 1 touchdown. Rushing, we had Jay Daniels on Washington's side, who had 48 yards and 1 touchdown. And the man, the myth, the legend, Saquon Barkley, 15 carries, 118 yards, and 3 TDs. Dude is a beast.
Yeah, I said it last week. I was rooting for the Commanders, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to see them do it. But I also said, if the Eagles find a way and their run game's intact and they get through them and they get to the Super Bowl, right? Preemptive pick for this one. The Eagles are tough on the ground.
Yeah.
They're built for this.
Yeah.
Now, New Orleans, Super Bowl is going to be indoors.
Right.
Weather's not going to be a factor. But Saquon is hungry. I mean, when you're on the Giants for that long and it's that tough, and then now you've got Jalen and Saquon, you got that threat. I don't know.
Jalen looked healthy.
Yeah.
This game. Much better than he did against Detroit.
Yeah.
Receiving yards, Zach Ertz, former Philadelphia Eagle, had 11 receptions for 104 yards, and A.J. Brown for Philadelphia had 96 yards and a touchdown. So, you said this about Saquon, is that he's hungry. And that when I think back to the Texans, we live here south of Houston, Texans had a run at Saquon.
Yeah, they did.
And fumbled Rooski.
Yeah. I'm not mad about it, though.
Why not?
Mixon's a good fit.
I think Saquon's better.
Saquon's definitely better than Mixon.
Yeah.
But our offense is not. The Eagles have to go through a run game. Jalen and Saquon together work because it's a dual threat QB and a power runner, right? And so the defense doesn't know who's going to run the ball down their throat.
Right.
And then you have A.J. Brown that is a legitimate threat.
Stud.
The Texans don't run their offense or didn't. Who knows what they're going to be now.
Right.
But Mixon, I like Mixon with the Texans over Saquon. But, man, Saquon with the Texans would have been scary.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it would.
But he made the right choice.
Yeah.
Where's that?
I agree. Yeah. He's actually, in my opinion, he is the reason why they're there.
100%.
Yeah. So let's dive into the Super Bowl. Let's give a little preview for the Super Bowl. Kansas City Chiefs 15-2, the Philadelphia Eagles 14-3. It's on Fox on February 9th at 5:30 p.m. And this is going to be a dogfight, I think.
I don't know.
Here's what the matchup predictor here on ESPN shows: 56.1% in favor of the Eagles to 43.9% of Kansas City. Now, let me put this into perspective. If referees are not an issue, and Philadelphia does not have to beat the referees and Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and the Kansas City Chiefs, it could be a shutout.
Yeah, there'll be so many eyes on it. I think the NFL is keenly aware now that there's a lot of attention to it, and nothing will taint the Chiefs win more than the refs having the game that they had with the Chiefs and the Texans. But I think it'll be played pretty equally. I don't think there will be a lot of penalties overall. I think the refs are going to kind of just stay out of it. Yeah, keep guys safe,
right.
Keep tempers cool, because both of them are very cocky teams.
Oh,
if you watch it,
both
are very cocky. So I could see tempers getting out of control depending on the type of game.
Yes.
But I think it's going to be highly competitive. But I also feel like the Eagles are just going to it's going to be hard to deny them, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right, and that's my pick for the Super Bowl is the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't have a score, I don't have a prediction of over under, but as you see right now, the under of 49.5, which it could be.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. I wouldn't bet against Vegas on that one there. It's going to be exciting. I told Stephanie, I was like, I'm really looking forward to the Super Bowl. The last couple of years, like people have come over and we've entertained. I think we're going to have that again this year with some friends and Avery having some friends and probably Jackson. I don't know. But I don't care. I'm watching the game because there's so many distractions the last few years. I haven't got to watch a lot of the game.
Sure.
And I'm like, I truly want to sit down and watch this game because I think it's going to be one of the better Super Bowls we've had in a while.
Yeah, well, there's not a lot of people. There's a lot of people, I should say, that are not a fan of the Super Bowl because we have the Kansas City Chiefs in it again. And I think this is a rematch of a few years ago.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I mean, here's what it is. It's who we got. I'm pretty sure anybody who wasn't a Notre Dame fan or an Ohio State fan, they felt the same way about the Natty in college that they might feel about this game.
Yeah, I think everyone will tune in, but they're going to tune in for multiple reasons, right? The game, one, the commercials.
The commercials.
That's always like one of the best parts.
Yep.
And then just having like the party atmosphere and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the food, which I want to jump into here in just a second.
Yeah.
I want to bring something up. I have been seeing all over X and social media how bad, let me reemphasize that, how horrible the Philadelphia Eagles fans have been.
Oh, yeah.
It is atrocious how bad they have been.
Yeah.
Like I look at that and I wince and like cringe for their team, for the good fans, because when they played Washington, the Commanders, it was like, ouch, man. They're just walking. They're not even trash talking. And the Eagles fans are just tearing them apart, stealing their hats, their phones, whatever, and just in their face. Like, I feel like it was a protest.
Yeah. It makes you, as a dad, you're like, I would never take my kids to that atmosphere.
No,
ever.
Absolutely not.
Which is sad. Like, there's not a benefit to that. Like, it's okay to be a fan. It's okay to, be passionate.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say this about a majority of the games I go to that are professional. Everyone is like, there's a little bit of trash talk.
Yeah.
You're not calling names. You're not hurting people. You're not doing those kind of things. I've gotten to the point where I don't want to take my kids to an NFL game because it's a booze fest.
Yeah.
It's chaos.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go to an Astros game all day. I'll definitely go to a Space Cowboys game. The Astros minor league team is close by here. Because that's a great atmosphere and a good time. If you have to worry about your safety or like when you're putting on your jersey to go to a game, if one of your thoughts has to be, is this okay?
Yeah, that's not right.
That's not right.
No. And I've got some stories when we get into baseball about my fan interaction up north. But before we move on, the AFC and the NFC is on the 2nd of February, and that's at 2 p.m. on ESPN, ABC, and ESPN Plus.
Pro Bowl?
The Pro Bowl, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you pay attention to that, great. I don't think I've watched a Pro Bowl in years because it's just become kind of a pansy fest.
Did you see the thing? I don't even remember who the quarterback is, but the quarterback for the Patriots.
Jones? Mac Jones?
No.
Is that not him anymore?
No, it's a new one. I don't remember.
I can't keep track.
But he's terrible. He's the 5th.
Drake May?
Maybe. It's the 5th alternate. And he made the Pro Bowl, right?
Right.
Because the first guy said, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. No, I'm good. So they were interviewing J.J. Watt about it the other day, and he's like, it's like a participation trophy at this point.
That's right. The only thing I like about the Pro Bowl week is when they do the skills tests.
Love that.
With the quarterbacks.
Yeah, Joe Burrow did. I saw just a clip of his the other day, like where they're throwing at the moving target.
Yes.
And he was money.
Is he?
Yeah. I mean, almost as good as me.
That's exciting. All right, back to the Super Bowl. Let's get into what Travis has been dying to talk about all episode is Super Bowl foods. What are you having for the Super Bowl to eat? Travis, what do you think?
What do I think I'm having?
Yeah, I want to know what you're going to have.
I don't know. So this was a conversation in my house this morning. Is what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Like I said, I passionately want to watch the game, so I don't want to do anything that's like heavy lifting, right? In the past, I've made wings like on the smoker, crawfish,
Mm.
done that. Um, I think as you go down the list, there's some key items that are you just like have to have.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in Texas, it's queso,
Queso.
like
Yep.
chips and queso. For if you're up north, I don't know if you call it queso, but cheese dip.
Cheese dip.
Yeah. So you've got to have that. Guacamole, have to have that. Um, my wife Stephanie, she is a baker.
Uh-huh.
Like she owns
Yes.
a bakery.
Very good
right?
bakery.
Shout
Baker.
out to the Butterstick Bakery. Like
Yeah.
look it up. But she always has great, amazing treats that are like logoed and all that kind of stuff. So it's awesome. We always have great sweets. You got to have some kind of meat. Like what is the
Right.
main piece?
Main dish.
Right. So I'm even debating like, do I want to do a brisket? Because
Mm.
I can do all the pre-work.
That's a long.
It's a
setup.
long process before.
Right.
But once I take it off the smoker and it rests, you could put it out, cut it up, and like it's grab and go.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are you having?
Well, I don't go all out. I don't do a lot of crazy stuff. Sometimes I'll order some wings in. One of my favorite wings places is Pluckers.
Yes.
So this year we may go get some Pluckers and bring it home. But my staple on any big game I had at the Natty is basically I take a crock pot, I get my queso dip, and I mix in some meat with it,
Yep.
and that's what we eat.
Ground beef, sausage, chorizo.
It could be any of those, but it's whatever I have on tap. Right now I have venison mixed with beef.
Oh yeah.
So
Where'd you get venison? You didn't even shoot a deer.
I did actually.
Oh, you did finally? Okay.
Yeah.
It took a minute.
It took a long minute, but I got me a big old 8-point.
PETA don't come after him.
No,
The deer was charging him. It was in self-defense.
self-defense.
Yeah.
What else you got on there?
Okay, so going down the list, chicken wings we talked about. Pizza, that was a conversation piece this morning. I told Stephanie, I'm like, what if we just order pizza? I think we shot that down. Chips and salsa. We mentioned queso and guac. We didn't say salsa. A good salsa is always good. One of my favorites, so it's number 9 on this list here. One of my favorite foods, I don't really do it at home very much. Mozzarella sticks, cheese sticks.
Oh, those are good.
I love cheese sticks.
Absolutely.
I've got some funny stories I'll maybe tell them one day on here about cheese sticks, but I love cheese sticks. Potato skins,
Oh yeah.
deviled eggs.
Oh.
Giving credit to, where was it at on here? Hold on. I know we had it with the pretzels.
Oh yeah. The
Untying the pretzels.
untwisting National Pretzel Untwisting Initiative.
Yeah. So pretzels is a big one for Super Bowls. So
I don't know if I've ever had that.
twisted or untwisted, it's your preference. Meatballs,
Oh yeah, meatballs is a good
that's
one.
always a good one. Let's see, bacon wrapped anything.
Oh yeah.
Jalapenos, quail,
Dove.
yeah,
Yeah, all of that's good.
bacon wrapped bacon.
Bacon wrapped bacon.
That's always the best.
That's probably the best one.
Chili. I don't
Oh,
think it. I mean, it's good, but is it even? It's not even like our coal is done.
Right.
We had a week of cold last week, and
Yeah.
now we're done.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're
I
done.
think we're supposed to get another little cold snap.
Yeah, I don't know when.
That's
It's going to
gonna
be
be-
like 80 next week.
Oh, I heard it was next week.
Yeah, I looked at the weather yesterday. It's going to be 80.
We
So,
went from 20 degrees to 80 within
Mhm.
a week span.
yeah, we're coming up on our spring.
Yeah.
But I love, like I said last week, any food holiday is my absolute favorite. Super Bowl is a food holiday.
Yeah.
Even though it's a sports holiday.
I agree.
I'm excited. That's my big goal is over the next few days. I just have to figure out the menu,
Yeah.
and I'm so excited.
Well, for me, I don't spend a whole lot of time on it, and typically it's just me and the kids here on any of the, and a lot of time it just ends up being me watching the game by myself. The kids playing on whatever, and then it's just me.
You can just come to the house. You come to my house. I'm gonna have food.
Okay.
I'll feed
I
you.
might sponge off you.
Consider this your invite.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
There's
Okay.
the official invite. All right, let's
Don't tell anybody I did though.
Oh yeah. Let's spin off. Let's pivot into baseball.
Yes.
As we know, it's been a big off season, and we're Astros fans here, and I'm actually a former. I guess I still like the White Sox because I'm from the Midwest, but it's just been so hard to cheer or root or anything like that for that team. But I still have a place in my heart for them. But the Astros, we're here. My kids are growing up Astros fans. So let's dive into a little bit of things that have been going on with baseball. But first, let's talk about 8 days, 7 hours until spring training starts.
That's pitchers are going to report.
Well, so this is a special number because the countdown has been revised to reflect the Cubs pitchers and catchers because they are playing in Tokyo against the Dodgers on March 18th.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so they will arrive a little sooner than the other team.
Dodgers? Hadn't heard of them. Is that
It's a new team. I think it's an expansion
team? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's exciting. Getting ready for that. Opening day for Major League Baseball 2025 is in 54 days, March 27th.
Thank goodness. I can't wait.
Oh my gosh. I feel when baseball's gone, I feel like a void in my heart and soul. You know, they're on every day almost. And I can watch them on TV and I stay up to date with them. We go to a lot of games. I think last year, it was either last year or the year before, we went to 11 games.
Wow.
That's a lot. And then hoping to continue that process.
We only went to one game last year for the Astros, but, you know, like I mentioned earlier, the Space Cowboys, they're local. They're the AAA team.
Yes.
We went to probably 5 or 6 of those. I like the smaller atmosphere, not as many people. You're getting to see the great baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Lots of other things to dive into on that, but yeah.
It's the guys that are going to be called up to the big show,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so it is exciting. And then the kids can get the autographs. It's so much easier for them to get autographs. I think my son played rock, paper, scissors for an autograph from Corey Lee, who was for the Astros, and now he plays for the White Sox.
Yep.
I believe there's all kinds of guys that have come. JJ Matijevic. My son's got his autograph from the Space Cowboys.
And it's cool too because all their rehab starts.
Oh, yeah.
They'll come up through there. They'll play, you know, in Sugarland here close by, and you'll get to see, you know, when they're rehabbing or they're prepping to get back up to the bigs after an injury. And you get like, it's like $15 a ticket.
Yeah, it's
and
cool.
Hot dogs are cheaper. Yeah. Drinks are cheaper. Like the kids can just run around and you're not worried.
That's right.
You're gonna get a foul ball if you want a foul ball. Like all of those things. It's a great atmosphere. But we'll go to a couple Astros games. It's just so chaotic and busy all the time.
Right. And that $15 is for like seats right on the net.
Yeah.
Right. So it's very affordable. Great experience if you can take your kids out to the Space Cowboys and watch them. Any
minor league club. Like that's one of my favorites. Any minor league baseball park that you're near. Like that'll be one of your best times as a family, and you don't have to break the bank to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Talking about the Astros, some crazy moves that have happened over the offseason. Kyle Tucker has been moved or traded, optioned, whatever, to the Chicago Cubs.
Yep.
Okay. Ryan Presley most recently has been traded to the Chicago Cubs. And I'm hearing, we're still working on Alex Bregman, but I'm hearing the Cubs are interested in Alex Bregman.
They are. I think they're asking Presley if the Cubs can get him, and he, you know, Presley's family and Bregman's family are close.
Sure.
I think he said that he would be in favor of it. I don't see it happening.
I don't either, but I feel like Cubs are going to be the Astros, trying to be the Astros 2.0.
Yeah.
Right? It's just, I've never seen one team try to take so many stars from one team. Not that they're taking, because we're trading as well,
right.
But there's only one team that's interested in
the Tucker move was great. We weren't going to have the money next year for Tucker. We were going to lose him. So we've lost so many of our core players through just free agency where they've gone and signed somebody else and we got nothing in return. Our farm system kind of got, you know, pillaged a little bit. So we've got to stock that back up and we've got to revamp it. I'm excited about this team that we've got. The Christian Walker is, you know, as a legit first baseman. Mm-hmm. I miss Yuli. I loved Yuli in the years that he had.
Right.
Last year, that was a hole, even though Singleton was great.
Oh, yeah. As of late.
Like Walker is a top 5 first baseman in baseball.
Major up there.
That kind of rounds out the infield with or without Bregman because of Isaac Paredes. Right? So we've got it. I think Pena struggled last year. He's not going to struggle this year again.
I don't believe so.
And then, like, the infield's great.
Yeah. Left
field's great with Jordan, right? And whatever happens there, I would rather see him be a DH all the time, right?
I would too.
Myers, Marisnik, center field, whatever. Like, I don't think
Marisnik's gone.
No, Marisnik. What's his name?
Jake Myers, and then you have Chaz McCormick.
Chaz McCormick. Thank you. Marisnik, come back home. We need you. Man, that's old school.
Yeah.
But Myers in center, not a fan.
No.
McCormick, I think he'll have a better year. He had a great year 2 years ago.
Yeah, he did, but he's had a great year defensively. It was offense, batting that was struggling for Chaz.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see that come around. If that comes around, I think it's a great team. Jake still struggles with the bat, which I think that is a major gap. I think he's a better defender than he is offense. And then, who else do you bring in to when Jordan's sitting? Who else comes in? You do have Chaz or Jake to choose from, or wherever. There's just
Well, the rumor is now that if Bregman does sign,
yes,
that Altuve has volunteered to play left.
which is crazy. The shortest guy in the league.
Yeah. And I will be devastated if they do that because he's a Hall of Fame second baseman.
Yeah, he is, but he's had his struggles as of late.
He has, but he's a Hall of Fame second baseman.
Yeah.
I don't know what he is as a left fielder.
No.
I don't think he's a Hall of Fame left fielder. I'm pretty confident about that statement. But
No.
why would you do like? I love Breggy.
Yeah.
I have been a Breggy fan since LSU, but that's not the move.
No, I don't believe it is. I don't believe it is.
You made an offer. They declined. You brought in other people, and now you're gonna get Altuve into left, so you can put Bregman at second. I don't like it.
Well, so the problem with Bregman is Bregman seen? Well, I can't say Bregman, but what's his name that represents him? Boris is seeing all these big contracts with Soto and all of these other guys getting these big contracts. Those are outliers. Soto's contract is an outlier.
Yeah.
That's not what everybody's going to get. And I think they went in money hungry and greedy and ready to just try to, get the most from whatever club that they could get, but they're not getting those offers. And they're finding out the hard way then that's why they are where we're at.
Boris doesn't have the pull that he used to. I don't
Right.
think. And he's got these guys believing this lie. Like he cost Bregman
Oh, I believe he did.
some reputation, some money. Like he should have been signed a couple months ago.
Right. I agree. And I think Bregman had an off year last year too.
Yeah. And if you know Bregman and you follow him, March, April, May, he's always slow to start.
He is.
It's the same thing every year.
Yeah.
June and July, he gets hot. And then once you get him in the playoffs, typically he's a stud.
Yeah.
But he's just slow to start.
Yeah.
You can't do that and get a 6-7 year, $200 million offer.
No, you just can't. You have to be a Soto type player to get that.
Tucker's going to get it.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, 2 years ago, Tucker was like in the MVP race.
And Tucker was making $500,000 a year.
Right. So when he becomes a free agent, the Cubs aren't going to sign him again.
No.
The Cubs have him for a rental, which I don't understand because they're not going to compete for a World Series.
I don't. I agree.
But whatever move they did, it's going to be extremely weird. We both said it the same
I know.
time. There we go. All right.
Well, so I want to pivot into my baseball story. Pivot real quick. Growing up, White Sox fan, I went to a White Sox Cubs game. Okay, at Wrigley Field because you should at least experience Wrigley Field once.
Mm-hmm.
I was walking in. I had my Canerco jersey on because this was 2005, actually 2006, right after they won the World Series. No slight to the Astros because they swept them in 2005. But I was just waiting in line, and I had so many Cubs fans razzing me. Felt like what I see in these videos from the Philadelphia Eagles fans. And I was just like, I'm not talking trash. I didn't even say one word. I just walked around in my jersey, and that's it. And they had nothing to stand on at that point in time. They hadn't won a World Series in ever, and they were just talking to me like they just won the World Series last year when we won the World Series last
Right.
year. And my take from their fan base, because I'm not a Cubs fan of the fans, I actually think they're one of the worst, is all they're there to do is drink. And that's just a big old drinking party. And when they win, they drink more.
Yeah, I disagree. I love Wrigley.
Oh.
I love the atmosphere. I've worn Astro stuff to Wrigley. I love it. I Love everything except for the architecture of Wrigley.
Yeah.
It's amazing historically, but it's a tough watch in some aspects of the game just because it's such an old stadium. But outside of Wrigley, the bars,
Yeah,
right,
that's
that are
fine.
there,
If you're not
parking
wearing
is a
White
little
Sox jersey.
funky.
Yeah.
But
Parking in yards.
yeah, I have a great time when I go to Wrigley.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, Astros and Cubs is not a rivalry.
Used to be when they were in the NL Central.
What's the average age of a Cubs fan? 21 right now.
Oh, I don't know. See, I was thinking higher. I was
No.
thinking like 80.
Well, I mean, they have a lot of different gaps, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying those that go to the games are a much younger
Right.
generation, so they don't know those rivalries back in the day. But
Right.
the White Sox and Cubs rivalry is
It's
renewed
Yeah,
every.
that's a good point. That's very real too.
So that's why I had that. My experience was different. Now, talking about structural part of the stadium, my seat was behind a pillar.
Yeah.
I could not see home plate.
First time I went, the guy next to me was behind a pillar, and I was like, that sucks.
But I do say you have to go one time to Wrigley Field. The second time I went to Wrigley Field, the Johns weren't working.
Oh,
So they had porta potties along the concourse. But anyways,
that sounds crappy.
no pun intended.
No,
What?
there was a pun
There-
intended. Yeah.
So anyways, that's just my experience with that. If you've got some crazy fan experiences, please send us a comment. Tell us what your experience was. We'll chat about it. Also, I want to talk about a segment we're going to be doing, not in this podcast, but in future podcasts. It's going to be called Old Dudes in Bad Moods,
Bad moods.
or Old Dudes in Good Foods, or Old Dudes in Man Boobs, or whatever it rhymes with. But it's going to be basically old dudes. And we'll review videos that people send us. So if you have a video of an old dude in a bad mood, old dude with good food, whatever it is, send it to us. We'll put it on the podcast. We'll chat about it and have a good laugh.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, I've already got a few entries that I need to put together for the next episode. Our next episode. A buddy of mine, Patrick, he is the guy that really coined the term old dudes in bad moods, and he presented it to me at our sales meeting, and he's like, let's make this happen, Brooks. So here it's going to come to you live right here on the Gray Area Podcast.
Love it.
So keep tuned right here. Like I said, anything that you got, feed us with comments and stuff like that. We are interested to hear what you guys have to say. All right, Travis, anything you got to say before we cut out of here?
No, good show.
Great show.
I feel good. I got a lot of feedback from our first one last time about how nervous I looked. So
Yeah.
this one, I think I'm less nervous.
Sure.
It'll get better.
It'll
get better.
Yeah, this is a fun thing. Apologize for the mic issue last time we had this thing going on. We don't have it now, I believe, so we're good. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching.
Yeah.
We had a lot of people really feedback on us and tell us about the podcast, and just the amount of listens is crazy. We just started episode 1, and it was a crappy production, but we had like over 40, 50 people listen to that.
That's pretty awesome.
That is cool. Follow us on our social medias. That's what I'm about to tell you right now.
Yep.
So, anyways, that's it for the Gray Area Podcast. We hope you had as much fun listening as we have recording. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you subscribe, leave us a review, share it with your friends, because God knows they need to hear us too. All right? If you want to follow us on our social medias, please do. Follow us on X at The Gray A Podcast and The Gray Area Podcast on Facebook to stay updated, as well as send us your thoughts or topics for future episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep it real.
Keep it funny.
And keep talking. That's it for us here at The Gray Area Podcast. See you next time. Love each other.